And here is the statue of St. Charles. The statue was dedicated during the renovation, and he's praying, but also how the children are around him. Celebrating the 100th of our parish, the Centennial, is not only about the past, but it's about the future. But the story starts way before the founding of our parish in the tiny church on the corner of Weddington Street and Backman Avenue in North Hollywood in 1921. I'm new at the parish, 3 years. And celebrating the 100th anniversary, I had to find some experts. And boy, did I find them. So let's listen to them.
Carlo Borromeo was born in Italy in 1583. That was 483 years ago.
Cole had a wealthy family. He went to the best schools to study. Even after he got his degrees, he continued to study.
He knew at a very young age he wanted to become a priest.
He became a cardinal when he was 21, and he was the Archbishop of Milan.
He used his own money to feed the poor and take care of the sick people during the plague.
He was often seen riding his horse into the villages, making sure people were in good health and receiving the sacraments.
During the plague in Milan, he started social distancing. Charles Borromeo died when he was 46 years old.
He became a saint 26 years later.
He is the patron saint of bishops, Christian teachers, and seminarians. Saint Charles Borromeo, pray for us!
And so this parish was first called Immaculate Conception. Then sometime around the time of it becoming a parish, the name was changed to St. Charles Borromeo. That probably was a decision of the Archbishop at the time, Archbishop Cantwell. The first church was obviously small, but big enough for the times. Then gradually that outgrew that space. And then Father Meade put together a committee and came over here looking at this property. My father was on that committee, and he said, because the owner of the property was very much anti-Catholic, he would never have sold it to the Catholic Church to build a church. So Father Meade could never be seen anywhere around here. A group of them bought the property, actually, then sold it to the church in order to avoid any difficulties. Anyway, that's kind of the way all churches grow, small to get bigger.
As a child, I remember seeing the construction that was being done, and Mass was being held in what we call the old church. But you'd see the construction and cement being laid and walls going up.
And it was dedicated in 1959, and I was privileged to have my first Mass here early in May 1962.
Coming here to St. Charles, it's been a wonderful experience. Our church, compared to the first church, this has some beautiful pillars, and it holds a magnificent church. Also, people-wise, there's some wonderful pillars that have been here. And I'm number 10, but there were pastors here who were absolutely pillars of this church. I did some research, and I'm going to read the names to you. The first one is Father Ernest Leguyader, Father Anselm Boyce, Father Leo Murphy, Father Edward Riordan, Father Michael Lawler, Monsignor Harry Meade, Monsignor Kevin Keane, Monsignor Thomas Kiefer, Monsignor Robert Gallagher, and myself right now. It's wonderful to have had these men be pillars in our church. And they paved the way with stories, with sacraments, and they're probably also praying for us as we celebrate our centennial.
Just a snippet of who Monsignor Father Gallagher, who he was to us. He was Father Gallagher. He didn't like to be Monsignor. that even though you thought he didn't know what was going on, he knew everything that was going on. Like a good father, he paid attention to what you needed.
We were very close to Father Gallagher's. When my daughter was being married up in Napa Valley, Father Gallagher flew up to do the rehearsal and flew back the next day because he had Bob Hope's funeral, and then flew back up that afternoon to do the wedding. So I mean, he was that kind of a guy, though. Yeah.
I come to the parish, to the church itself, when I'm happy, I'm angry, I'm sad, any kind of emotion or whatever's going on in life. You know, I come here, and I think for me, it's truly become not only a space of worship, but a space of just home. You know.
A centennial is a time to look in the rearview mirror. But the biggest piece of glass in the car is the windshield looking forward. So a little window looking back is really helpful to kind of reminisce and get understand our foundations and our evolution. But the biggest part of the centennial is tomorrow and the future. To take with us what really are the great principles and the foundations we've set, the programs and things that are part of the past, and to retool all of that for the next 100 years. I was born in Hollywood because back in the mid-30s, there were no hospitals in the San Fernando Valley. If you lived here in St. Charles Parish, all those years, and our whole life was centered around St. Charles. It was not only a place of religious gathering, but also the school was a tremendous gathering point for the Catholic families here.
Every time we drove by the church, Mario would say, "Did I tell you that I went to school here?" "Yeah, about 100 times.
I've lived in St. Charles Parish most of my life, so all I've seen are changes in the church building, changes in the school, because when I started, we were in little bungalows and a dirt playground, and it was charming, and I didn't know the difference between a school building and a little bungalow.
I don't know where Father Meade got them, but we had bungalows out there, and we were in them at least till I was in 4th grade.
My sister and I were in the 5th and 6th grade. That's the beginning. And our brother was in 2nd grade. He was in Cardinal Mahoney's class and Sister Mary Milligan's class, who was our superior general at one time.
My pastor at the time was Monsignor Meade, and he built the parish, he built the new school. That was a big deal to get into what we call the new school.
And then the need for far more space for students expanded. And so this school was constructed.
If I put myself back in the shoes of a 4th grader, let's say here, I would not imagine where I am now. While I was in college, I started teaching confirmation classes here. I did that for 10 years. While doing that, I figured out I really liked teaching. It kind of led me to get my degree in teaching. I started teaching here, so my first full-time job was here. My growth and transformation has really been, based here at St. Charles.
Our school has been here for 80 years. We just celebrated the 80th 2 years ago. And beautifully dedicated at the beginning by the sisters.
The Sisters of Blessed Virgin Mary started our school. They started a number of schools around, but we were one of them.
The nuns here were such a powerhouse, but also they were never recognized.
The sisters were a great part in forming the faith of the students they taught wherever they were present. So even though I got a large instilling of Catholic values through my family, it got magnified with the efforts of the sisters, and I'm sure and confident that took place anywhere they taught.
Where the girls are on one side of the playground, boys are on the other. We had the sister that would come out onto the balcony and, look at everybody, and it was very, I don't want to say regimented, but it was a good experience for me.
They're the Sisters of Charity of Blessed Virgin Mary, that's the whole title. And there are a couple of them were still here, but the principal at the time was actually a Benedictine nun, and she came, and that was Sister Mary Bride. So she was principal when I started school here in first grade.
Someday there's not going to be any more BVM sisters. They're all getting older now. They're in their 70s, 80s, even in their 100s.
The mascot for Loyola Chicago, she was my 8th grade teacher, Sister Jean Dolores. And the woman is 101 years old.
She was at St. Charles?
She was at St. Charles. She's the 8th grade teacher.
It was just lovely. And sitting here, I look at the diamonds on the floor, and that's when we had First Communion, Confirmation. We always had to walk on the diamonds. That was the marker. All these little things that you remember that come back. Like when I go to communion and I see those diamonds, I think, am I taking too many steps? Am I supposed to walk on the diamond? One in between? All those things come flooding back because they were so ingrained. It was just a lovely experience, and we knew we were lucky because the nuns told us we were.
Growing up, I think, in the late 60s, early 70s, we thought it was such a wonderful time. Also being at St. Charles, we had such amazing teachers there. And as crazy as it sounds, sometimes I even think that I got a better education in grammar school than I did at high school or college.
I work at NBC Universal, and I can see St. Charles from my office when I was employed there. I knew of the reputation, so we decided that we would apply at St. Charles. And it turned out to be a gift, not only because of the small classroom size, the nurturing environment, not only from the faculty, but from the parents. It was a great parents group there.
We really became a part of the community when both me and my brother started going here. I actually transferred from a school, and he transferred from a school as well, because from a social aspect, we didn't really get along in those schools. And then this school, when I came here, it really restored my faith in middle schoolers, as I like to say, instantly accepted as family. So was my brother. So that's when it was kind of the turning point in my family's life.
I got transferred to St. Charles, so it more taught me about how to adapt and meet people, and everyone was just so nice overall, and just how to treat people, and the teachers actually cared about you. Obviously, I went to a Catholic school and then another Catholic school, and then now I'm at a Jesuit college.
I am a parishioner of St. Charles, as well as a mom of 2 St. Charles Borromeo School students. A long relationship with not just the church, but with the school community as well.
I've been a part of the St. Charles community for going on 20 years now. Yeah, since I've been born. I would say it was the strongest years of my life, meaning faith and friendships and just school. I feel like those years were very influential in how I am today, being a part of a class of 23, which many will not be able to say that they've had the class that small, and having the attention and care and being able to walk down the street to a beautiful church and have mass once a week. I mean, it was great years. I really loved my time here at St. Charles. I'm still friends with about 7 of the kids that were part of my class. I see them once a week.
We wanted them to have their faith woven through the curriculum, and St. Charles does an excellent job of doing that. We wanted them to experience what we experienced growing up in the Catholic schools and in the Catholic Church. And then it's the community of parents, it's the community at the church. They're all walks of life. We see ourselves in our school community, and we see ourselves in our church community.
I really think that what's important to me is my friends, my family, and the parish. I feel like that's really important. My religion is very important to me.
Not much has changed.
Father Jose is always so happy. When I got my first communion, he told me when I grow up, I'm gonna be a leader. So he told my parents to watch out. And that just made me very happy.
I love it because the teachers are great and the education's really good. And it's good for new people who are coming. The entire school community is very welcoming.
Compassion and mercy sum up the best of St. Charles. Compassion in all the ways, even in helping people carry their burdens.
I think it's the friendship and that something is always changing and that we're all sticking together with each other.
My name is Deacon Louis Roche. I'm one of 2 deacons at St. Charles, and I'm the director here at the Holy Family Service Center. I'm here on Monday, but I went to school across the street, so I've been here for like more than 50 years. Our clientele is usually a lot of homeless people, a lot of low-income families, and basically we provide food, clothes, haircuts, showers. We have a hot meal every Thursday for the people. We try to treat them with dignity and respect.
The center is marvelous. I use the showers, I get food. St. Charles has by far been the best encouragement I've had.
And we try to get them to the next level. Thank God for the volunteers. We've had the same like 15, 20 people every day.
It's truly amazing the hard work of the volunteers that do spend time sorting, receiving donations, that sort of thing.
I volunteer at the service center for 4 years. I'm here Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
When new clients come in or existing clients, either homeless or low income, they come through me, I register them, I explain the services that they will be able to receive, which is clothing and groceries, and that's my primary duty. I think the most important thing is to serve them with dignity and respect, because that's what it's all about here.
The pastor right now is very impressed with what is done at the Social Service Center across the street. And they do all kinds of things with food and clothes and helping people. And as I say, the hot showers, all kinds of good meals. You know, that's really a tremendous program they present.
They really instilled in us that service is a big part. And they even gave us service hours from, I believe, 4th grade. And a big part was helping out at the service center. And we would donate clothes, donate just canned goods and everything like that.
Kudos to Deacon Louis and his group. Just amazing people.
I think giving back, since God has been so good to me with all the blessings I have.
And we have a full setup over here with the shower truck. They sign up, and while they're waiting, we have a full breakfast or lunch with a little snack bag. If they need, they can come get clothing to have a clean pair of clothes after they've taken their shower.
Yes, you know, they need new clothes because they have an interview. So I think the encouragement and support that the center or the ministry gives to them is working.
We try to make our clients feel comfortable so that they're not feeling like they're being judged, because a lot of them do get judged.
You know, Jesus is asking us to serve his people. That's really what I take out of it, is just being, you know, putting those words into action and being with God's people and trying to help others out, because we don't know where the fork in the road was for them.
I feel for a lot of our people that come in, and I just, they're brothers and sisters.
You can only help the person that's in front of you. You know, we can make these grand plans, but at the same time, just affecting people one at a time is what we're about. And there are success stories, and that's what it's all about.
I gotta get a shower. I'm coming.
Diversity is important for a church because in the very beginning, Jesus started out with the Israelites and then sent Paul out to the Gentiles to basically tell the good news to the whole world. So whole world means very diverse.
And that's important, is making people feel welcome. Now we have people now, pretty multicultural groups, and we need to make them feel comfortable and part of the family, and then trying to reach out to them and be warm and friendly to them.
We celebrate Mass in over 49 different languages every Sunday. You know, the main languages being English and Spanish, of course. In fact, most of our priests are bilingual in either Spanish and English, or another pastoral language such as Vietnamese.
When I had my wedding, I think I was probably the first, if not one of the first, Filipino weddings. And we have a little bit of a different tradition. You know, we have principal sponsors, you know, we have the whole entourage. And then when I had my children, they were both baptized here. Nothing difficult about, you know, signing up, doing it. So we felt that sense of belonging. We started forming the Filipino group, you know, the traditional Simbang Gabi, which is a very famous tradition in the Philippines, was initiated during Monsignor Kiefer's time.
First, it was Filipino-American Council, but then Father Jose Magaña said it should be a ministry, so we changed it to Filipino-American Ministry.
Became quite active and whatever is, you know, the parish needs at that time.
There was a African American community here, and I got pulled in, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. But I needed something more, and the African American organization was there. Just like they have the Filipino organization and the Latino organization, there was the African American, and that really did it. It has grown so much, and I've learned so much from the group. We all have so much to offer, and the culture is so rich. We're able to bring it to St. Charles and show something different. We are able to share that with everyone else.
That is what we love so much about this community, because everybody had the same opportunity over here. Their masses, now they got the Santo Niño here. And so he was the same way to everybody. You never feel like he was doing more for one community than the other. So my dreams came true in this parish. So I owe so much to St. Charles.
So it's beautiful to see many cultures, many languages coming together. And I think that's probably the highlight here at the parish, that sometimes you may not understand each other's language or culture, but you still are very respectful towards it.
We were asked to host one of the Simbang Gabi, the Advent Masses for the Filipinos. Monsignor Kiefer called several of us school parents and said, I need you to do this for me. It was something new for us too. We didn't know what to do. But he says, I expect to be able to do this year. And that was, I believe, in 1997.
I think a lot of it has to do with Father Jose right now and what the efforts he's trying to bring to this community and to St. Charles. I am proud that he wants to hear a woman's point of view. I am proud that he is not only a minority, but that he wants to make sure that a lot of the cultures here at St. Charles are represented.
Came to the United States here as a refugee during 1980. As Vietnam fell to the communists, so we fled from the persecution. The opportunity I thought of when I was a teenager that want to do something. When I grow up, it vanished. When I found St. Charles here, I fell in love with St. Charles. This is beautiful church. Everybody agree with that. But it's not just the outside appearance that appealing to me, but rather than the warm welcome of the Holy Spirit.
Then you start also meeting these kids around you that are very different from you, but also the same because they have the same faith as you. And I feel like that was kind of a bonding factor because I have friends of all races that came from this school, but one thing we have in common is our faith. And that's something that we kind of don't talk about, but at the same time it's there. And I feel like just addressing it in a sense, is enough to see like people are being heard, things are being seen.
Para mí en lo personal poder compartir con diferentes personas de diferentes países, poder conocer sus costumbres de ellos, poder conocer pues incluso sus idiomas. Muchas veces aprendemos palabras de los diferentes idiomas de ellos y esta comunidad realmente pues Padre José ha venido a unir esa diversidad de culturas que tenemos acá, que antes no lo habíamos experimentado como lo estamos experimentando hoy en día, queriendo compartir todos juntos como hermanos que somos.
Diversity and welcome of all race and ethnic was that God's intention. God wasn't intend to do just for one race or one group of people or one individual, but for all. And all will have salvation.
I'm James Drollinger, and I have been associated with St. Charles since about 1980. I'm currently the director of liturgy and music. I began as a choir singer, became a cantor, started working in the office, did some coursework and got certified in music and liturgy for the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. Was appointed liturgy director in 2007. And in 2009, upon the retirement of my mentor, Paul Solomunovich, I was appointed music director. Paul came from the musical tutelage of Roger Wagner.
Again,
I came from the musical tutelage of Paul Solomunovich, who was 60 years the music director here. Now that's a lot of music making, that's a lot of opportunity to put your stamp on a place and to really leave your mark.
called the coral squeeze.
He set a very high bar for the quality of performance, incredibly high bar for the work ethic that goes into producing that which we're going to present on a Sunday.
I'm from a musical family. My mother said I came out of the womb singing, so I've always communicated with God through my voice.
There you go. That's it. And we go. And
I thought the music was sounding glorious, and that was what I was hoping to gain. And the fellowship, these people became almost new best friends overnight, and they welcomed me.
When you take it and use your talents, you use the instrument God gave you to express the deep tradition of the church in song, it's absolutely transporting.
It has made me a more spiritual person, and that's what was missing in my faith.
The other thing that we've experienced in the choir is that there have been any number of people who have met their future spouses in the choir. And so it is a great privilege for us as a choir to be able to sing for their wedding.
Met my husband in Paul Solomonivich's backyard. Love at first sight. And he was Catholic.
We've traveled internationally, brought our talents to people we never knew.
The Pope. We sang for the Pope.
Yeah, minor detail.
Yeah.
We sang in private audience for the Pope. We've sung as the first and only American choir to ever do so, St. Peter and Paul's Day in Rome with the installation of new cardinals.
I have friendships that I know I'll have till my dying day. Bad times, good times, and everything in between. I love this church.
That is my favorite part of this song. It is just magnificent. I mean, it just sounds magnificent. It's like, wow. And to just think that I have a small part in that, it's mind-blowing.
We're in a unique time. In the last couple of years anyway, we have a new pastor, relatively new, and we had the COVID-19. So we had a situation that was much changed. It needed some originality, it needed some creativity to continue in our Catholic traditions. And so it gave us the opportunity to do that. And what our pastor has done is gathered up regular parishioners and on his staff and in volunteers. And it's really built a great organization to meet these needs. And that's unique.
And I see that Father Jose was a very energetic priest. The memory I had that when he first came here, you see that the Piazza de San Carlos right now was a random parking lot. When he first came, he had 5-gallon plants. He put here, put there, he looked around, he said, that's good, this good, and he put in Mother Maria sculpture in there, and that looked good. He put in fountain. If we look back then, we don't know that we're gonna have a COVID pandemic. You see that nobody comes to the church, and Piazza San Carlos become a center of the wedding ceremony, of the Mass, daily Mass, service out there. You see how beautiful if he did not have that vision.
Number one, St. Charles when I first got here, and St. Charles right now during the pandemic. Two total different understandings of the parish community.
I think we've had a chance to kind of really feel and see what's important, you know, during this past year, and maybe rethink how we feel about certain things and what's really important.
And then like in terms of having these drive-in masses, I have never been to a drive-in mass. It's like, this is great. But all of the work that it takes, I mean, the ushers are there 2 hours before to set up. They're lining up all the cones, they're guiding all of the cars in.
I would like to take some time to really kind of meditate with you upon some of the things that have gone through this year.
Now that we looks like we're rounding the corner and moving towards what they call a new normal, one of the things that I hope continues is the sense of everybody pitching in, everybody trying to help each other out, be there for each other.
Going through COVID, one of the ministries that's really wonderful is the Welcome Home ministry, trying to keep the church going through this tough time and being a light for people that need it. In some ways, the good part about that was the community here came together more, and more people. We got to know people that we wouldn't normally. You'd wave to them and stuff like that, but now we have relationships and friendships.
Never did I think that I was going to be facing a pandemic and facing losing family members or facing a world change, you know, that we had to close the church. But good old expression is, for us, God has a plan for us, and He knows it. And since He knows it, He will reveal it to us as we continue. That's why St. Charles continues to grow. We're not done.
Los Angeles is a large area composed of a lot of small villages. And I think St. Charles is the center of this village that we're in here. And that's what the camaraderie, the friendship, the familyness.
Our industry is so crazy. It's hurry up, let's rush to do this. It's how big, how this, how that, how fast can you do it? And when I walked into the church, I just felt this great solemnity. I felt this quietness, this stillness, and just the whole antiquity of the interior was just so calming and just so focusing, and it created a great stillness.
It's been a wonderful parish, and it's been a very, I would say, inclusive, where they've tried to bring people in together, and I would hope that 100 years from now, there's that same kind of feeling.
It was home. St. Charles was home, and still is to this day, even though I don't live in the parish any longer. I still feel at home when I'm at St. Charles.
there will be a place for you here at St. Charles. And I think I have certainly come to realize that in the last year here. And I think at heart, that is why St. Charles is so rich in volunteers. And I never realized that, because I've always seen volunteers here. I've always seen parishioners wanting to give of their time and their talents.
I feel so gifted. Not with talents, with money or anything like that. It's the relationship with God, I would say that. Jesus and his mother, Mary. You're never alone, you know.
Well, you know, community is once you go to Mass or you go to some sort of a service, you know, you hear about, you know, the homily and different things, but it's once you leave the church, you know, Jesus is asking us to serve his people, you know, and that's really what I take out of it, is just being, you know, putting those words into action and being with God's people and trying to help others out.
As a Catholic, we live not just by the brand as a Catholic or label, but we live by how we treat others.
Stood out for me is that the obligation from day one in Catholic Christian life is to love God and love neighbor, meaning the service of one another.
Ultimately, what's really the point of a parish if you can't make a difference in the world? And so that's something that we have prided ourselves on here in the most humble of ways, I hope, that we make a difference in this community.
It is the overriding quality of St. Charles is service. Service here in the church to the community at large.
So if I were speaking to someone 100 years in the future at St. Charles, I would say to them, remember, we're all human with our own human frailties, and that no matter what comes about, any of our human condition, that we go to God for our answers. And we don't rely on our humanity, but we rely on God. But we as human beings are given each other as angels to help one another through our human journey.
Because it was so easy to learn how to be good. Wonderful people at St. Charles. We couldn't have asked for a better extended family.
We kind of grew up together as well, and it was a bond. We're still very close with the parents from St. Charles that our girls, they're friends of, and we still communicate. And so that was important for us.
It's just a wonderful, warm feeling of being a part of this community. So for me, that's my experience of community here at St. Charles, is the family and friends I formed from Bible study.
Mi fe es lo más importante en mi vida y es en torno a la cual gira toda mi vida. Porque uno actúa en consecuencia de aquello en lo que crees. Y si yo creo en Dios y creo en Jesús, creo en Santa María, tengo que actuar de esa manera. Entonces, por eso la fe es lo más importante para mi vida. Y San Carlos ha sido una comunidad en donde se me ha permitido vivir en plenitud toda mi fe.
COVID happens, Father Jose was so creative. He and his team has done an incredible job.
Padre José, por venir a nosotros, por todo lo que has hecho desde que vino, desde que está aquí. Father José, we owe him so much too. When you talk from your heart, your tears come.
My hope for St. Charles really in 100 years is that same spirit of community, that same spirit of service is here, in that the next 100 years, those that are here now, those that are here in a couple of years, will take what we've developed and just make it better.
This is the place. This is the place. This is the right place, because everybody love other. Everybody care for other. Not because it's something that you have and they want, but because they through love, from love, that they want you to see that Jesus is the Lord and Jesus loves us.
To the St. Charles Borromeo family, on the occasion of our 100-year anniversary, may we continue to make a great impact in this community for at least 100 more years.
Congratulations on the first 100 years, and I'm wishing you every good thing that can possibly happen to St. Charles.
Congratulazioni, St. Charles, in questo anniversario di 100 anni.
Happy birthday, St. Charles, on your first 100 years.
100年私たちをここで守ってくださってありがとうございます。おめでとうございます。
Happy 100th birthday, St. Charles.
On behalf of all the Sisters of Charity of the Blessed Virgin Mary and all their associates, it's my pleasure to wish the St. Charles Parish a very wonderful 100th anniversary.
Que siga intercediendo 100 años más por toda la comunidad de San Charles Borromeo.
Happy birthday, St. Charles. Thank you so much for everything that you've done in my life, and I love you guys so much.
Congratulations, St. Charles Borromeo. Happy 100th birthday. I'm so proud to be a part of this celebration.
Happy 100th birthday, St. Charles. I'm finally happy to meet something older than I am.
Happy 100-year birthday, St. Charles.
I really wish everybody the best. So let's have another 100 years.
What would I tell a pastor here at St. Charles in 100 years from now? Be at peace. God will provide.